In this video, I'll be covering the National Latin exam for Level 2 for the year 2007, numbers 1 through 20. The first question is testing you on the irregular verb possum. Possum is just like sum, except it has a POT in front. The only exception is when you have sum begins with S, then you have POS. So here you have an erot, and you got to be careful because you're thinking, oh, this is a past perfect. But you have to remember, erot is the imperfect form of sum. So this is poterot is the imperfect form of possum. So this would be C was able. The past perfect form would be potuerot with a U there, using the third principal part. Cuyus, this is a genitive form of qui, quae, quod, and so I'm looking for a genitive translation, and that's whose, and this is the interrogative pronoun. Clarissimi, so the issim, this will always tell you that this is superlative, so I'm looking for a superlative translation, and that would be D, very famous. Be careful, as famous as possible would need a quam, and there's no quam in the sentence. Noli, and hopefully we're getting good at this, anytime you see a noli or nolite, it's a negative imperative, and so it's don't or do not. And defendant. Defendo is a third conjugation verb, and in the third conjugation, the E makes this future, so this would be a future translation, will defend. So this first one is a or ob plus a passive verb that will always be an ablative agent translated as by. So a or ob plus a passive verb is translated as by, and so it's who is doing the action. And so Medusa was killed by Perseus. Remember, an agent is a doer from ago. Next one, I notice I have accusatives, os and es. So these are both accusatives. Mensis is a unit of time. So a unit of the time in accusative is going to be an accusative of extent duration. And so that's always translated with for when you're talking about time. So for a few months. 8. So this would be in a positive. I'm going to rename Caesar. And a positive always is in the same case of what it's renaming. In this case, em is accusative, so my answer will be accusative as well. Here's a math. 2 and 10 is 12. Trace is 3. Octo is 8. Tre decem is 3 and 10. This is 13. Noem is 9. And so I'm looking for 15, which is 5 and 10. So that's your answer right here, 15. So this is a tricky one. So a lot of you are going to miss this. You're looking at say, which is a reflexive pronoun, which is in the accusative case. But you have to notice there's an infinitive here, and then there's a head verb. So you have a head verb and an infinitive. This is an indirect statement. And so the subject of an indirect statement is in the accusative case. So this say here will be translated as a subject, she. Number 11 is testing your cases. So lacrimentium, this is the present active participle, which is declined like a third declension, and matrim is third declension. So the IUM and the UM in the third declension would be genitive, so it's C, of the weeping mothers. So be careful to watch your declensions. Calarius, this IUS makes this a comparative adjective or adverb, and so I'm looking for a comparative translation, and this would be B, more quickly. This one's a tricky one. My daughter wishes to be. So wishes to be, the verb to be will take a nominative on both sides. So she wishes to be a teacher. So this was a tricky one. So since this is nominative, this is going to be nominative. Wishes to be a teacher. So remember, verb to be takes nominative on both sides. So manere, so this is going to be, this is infinitive, this is a head verb, so this is an indirect statement. And so a present active infinitive in an indirect statement will translate at the same time as the main verb. So dicit is present, so this will also be present. A is remaining. Tibi is testing you on your cases of to, tui, to be, tete, which is you. This would be dative, and datives are translated as to or for, so this is to you. So Roman numerals, so M is 1,000. D is 500, and then C is 100. So 1,000 plus 500 plus 100 would be 1600. L is 50 and X is 10, so 50 and 10 is 60. And then V is 5, 1 is, or I is 1, so it'd be 1666. D. Tello, so this is an ablative of agent. So an ablative of agent does not have an A or ob when it's not a person or animal. So this is the man was wounded by a weapon. Aite, this is from the irregular verb eo, and so this is the imperative, which just means simply to go. Prope is testing your vocabulary. So prope is near. Huius poetai, excuse me. So the IUS for hic hi coke and the AE would be genitive endings, and the genitive translated is of, so of this poet.